Hi, guys. I am so grateful to be back here at EI, and I really mean that. If you were here last year and heard me speak, you might remember that I left the Prison Entrepreneurship Program, an organization that I founded in Texas, and I resigned from there and then moved back to New York City a year and a half ago, not really knowing what I would do with my life. And then I quietly announced this idea for Defy Ventures, and it was my second chance as a leader. And the EI Forum last year, it was a really big deal to me, and I won't forget it. It was my 34th birthday, the night that I spoke. But I was this shy, nervous, insecure girl who was coming out here. It was kind of like my coming out party about Defy. And honestly, I was really nervous that I would be judged and criticized for coming back. And instead, I was incredibly embraced, so I feel like I'm coming home right now and being here with you guys, so I feel honored for that. And part of the reason that I was scared of being judged or criticized was not just because of my past, but also because I didn't exactly come out of the gate with this little tiny vision that we would build a little nonprofit organization that would serve a couple guys here in New York City. I said, we are committed to building a model that will impact every urban community in America using entrepreneurship to create life change for men who are formerly incarcerated. And we're still very committed to that idea. And so we presented this here at EI, and I'll tell you what Defy is. The word defy, as in defying the odds, is to challenge someone to something that is deemed impossible. And a lot of people think that what we do is impossible because we go and we scour the boroughs of New York City and we actively recruit and seek out the most accomplished former drug dealers and gang leaders that we can possibly find. 80% of our guys committed violent crime, and they've averaged more than 10 years in prison. And then we take these men and we put them, after they go through a difficult admissions process, and we equip them using entrepreneurship to change their lives. We provide them with transformational tools, character building, leadership development, and we put them through these super rigorous, competitive business plan competitions and getting a lot of coaching and judging from business executives, many people who came out of this room. These guys are putting together their business plan ideas, and they're competing now for $100,000 in financing so that they can actually roll out their companies. In June will be our first competition. So that's the idea behind Defy. They're going through fatherhood training and character development and building business plans, and then actually competing for real dollars and starting their companies. And when I came and spoke at EI last year, it was all about the vision for what we were gonna build for Defy, but nothing had actually happened yet. And so since being here last year, I feel like I've kind of like given birth to this program because we said we were going to do it. And now I'm proud to say that it's very early to talk about results, but we already have some pretty amazing results. We actually launched, after building all this infrastructure, hiring a great team, and raising capital to get this organization off the ground. In January, just 3 months ago, we launched our pilot class. And these guys are going through a one-year program, but they already graduated from phase 1. Our guys have had nearly 250 hours in the classroom of training. 31 guys graduated, have written their parts of their business plans, and half of them today have already launched their businesses. The other half of them are launching them within the next month. On May 5th, in just, 3 weeks, these guys get their first round of seed capital. So all of this is coming to life, and the way that happens is that after we got to speak here last year, and I was so nervous about how it would be received, so many of you from here came and joined our ranks as our volunteers. In just the past 60 days, we have had 120 volunteers who have provided, I'm not joking here, 1,350 hours of volunteer service. That's business executives who have come and equipped our guys to be all that they can be. And last year, when we were still just building a dream and a vision, people provided so much funding so that we could get to where we are today. And as of today, we've raised $1.3 million to get this thing off the ground. So I'm not joking when I say that we are building something that we truly are going to use to create national healing and redemption in probably the most overlooked sector in America. So I'm so excited about it. But all these numbers don't mean a whole lot to me without the lives that are actually being changed every day. And so I want to introduce you. These guys make me more proud than anything ever. And it's going to be their first time doing any public speaking of this sort. And so they're nervous, because if you had to come up here and talk about the worst thing that you've ever done, you'd be pretty nervous too. So I'd like to introduce them to you on just one condition, though, and that's that as they come up here, that you give them a very warm welcome. Can you guys do that? Very, very warm welcome. Come on up, guys. Come on up. All right, so this right here is the fruit of our labor, and I'm so proud of them. We call them our student entrepreneurs. So why don't you guys just start off by introducing yourselves, say where you're from, and how much time did you do in prison?
Good morning.
Just as a little question.
Good morning. My name is Robert Willis. I'm from the South Bronx, and I spent 3.5 years in prison.
My name is Jose Vasquez. I'm from New York City, and I did 2.5 years in prison.
My name is Fabian Ruiz, and I'm from Queens, and I did 21 years in prison.
And what was your charge, your criminal charge?
Murder.
Distribution of narcotics.
Possession of narcotics.
Okay, so a lot of people can understand us coming alongside people who are former drug addicts and equipping them to become successful entrepreneurs, but murder kind of scares the crap out of everybody, right? A lot of times we don't realize that some of our Bible heroes, like David, Paul, and Moses, actually had murder charges themselves. So Fabian, since you have the prize for the scary charge, can you talk a little bit about, sorry, I'm not trying to make light of it or anything, it's very important, but can you talk about the circumstance that led up to that, just real briefly?
Well, I was 16 years old, and my older brother was shot and killed. And I took the laws in my own hands, and I shot the person that shot my brother.
Okay. And with Defy, I don't like to think, we're not in the rescue business. We're not here to try to convince people who were criminals to stop being criminals. These guys made on their own this remarkable decision to change their lives and their actions and their ways. And so why don't you guys talk about some of why did you change, just talk about a little bit of why you made the decision on your own to start changing your ways.
Well, it wasn't one thing that led to my change, and my change started while I was still incarcerated. I did the whole 21 years, and after, I would say, 7 years in prison, to be honest, the first 7 years in prison, I was still a knucklehead. And I guess I started getting tired of being tired, and I seen the possibility of possibly coming home. And I guess sitting in church, after a while, I realized that what I did was wrong, because I always had the mentality, or I came from a school of thought that said that what I did was right, that, taking revenge on something or a family member was the right thing to do. So eventually it led to me finally realizing that what I did was wrong, and that led to a whole lot of change.
Okay. Jose?
To me, was the first time I had my first visit by my mother and my grandmother, who are the two most important people in my life. So I come down to visit, and I see them coming, but I guess coming, they didn't realize I would be behind glass. So imagine having like this barrier where you can't touch your loved ones. So having them walk and just seeing that emotional, and just them being crushed emotionally, and the pain and the disappointment that I had caused them, that day I vowed that I would only make them proud and I would never hurt them again.
For me, it was realizing that I had to find a greater love than my own personal selfish perspectives, and that love came in the form of remembering that I have a son that I want to be proud of me, and I just want to leave a legacy that he can be proud of through the fruits of my labor, and say my father was here and he contributed to society.
Real quick elevator pitch on the business that you're starting. All these guys are not just students, they're entrepreneurs in the making here, so tell us what you're starting.
My business is a product called an image lope, and what I do is I turn envelopes into billboards that reflect human emotion and convey positive message that hopefully creates a greater connection between you and your loved ones.
So I now reside with my grandmother, and as David spoke, I decided that it's time to elevate the forgotten population. So I'm doing like a senior assistance where we run errands, grocery shop, plan events. So anyone here who feels that there's a need to elevate their elderly loved ones, talk to me after, all right?
Nice.
Well, my service is prison related. What we do is, since there's no internet access in prison, we provide that access through the mail. So we have a catalog where they fill out, and we provide their research or internet information that they might need, and we send it to them. And we also make that bridge and connection regarding email retrieval.
Final quick question here. This conference, the theme is power, and I have experienced God's power, and I feel like I see miracles every day. So much of that has come from this group right here. Like when I came here this morning, I didn't feel like I was coming to the EI forum. I felt like I was coming to Defy Reunion. And you guys have personally experienced so many of the benefits from people who are sitting right here in this audience. So talk about the impact that this group right here has had just on your lives.
Oh, wow. I was just talking about that. Well, there's a lot of people here. My personal mentor is one of your staff members, and that's Jensen Cole. And not only is he a business mentor, but he's been like everything to the class. Like he's been there, he shared his family, and what that has done is it's kind of like allowed the acceptance part, like made us worthy or made me feel worthy. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's also people that we sat in front of, executives. We've been in from prison cells to skyscrapers with Bill Huang and his crew, Elliot. It's just been amazing.
To me, it's just amazing from coming from prison to then speaking to such great people. So for instance, I was so nervous this morning. I actually have Mr. Ken Jennings. He's ready to give me CPR just in case I pass out. So just having
Thanks,
the support
Ken.
system and just sitting there and having somebody like Bill Huang come up to me and look at me in the eye and say, "How you doing, Jose?" It just encourages me. I'm not being judged, and it just empowers me.
Well, I've always dreamed about an opportunity like this, but it became crystallized yesterday, honestly, as we were leaving the EI Forum, a member of the EI Forum. We met outside. She reintroduced herself to Miss Rohr, and Miss Rohr introduced us to her, and she looked at me and said, "You're my guy." And, I was puzzled, and come to find out, her name is Christina, and she has sponsored me, and she learned about Defy from this program, and it just made me feel that, someone cares about you who doesn't even know you, makes you feel kind of loved and appreciated. And I just want to thank you guys.
So as you can see, this was so instrumental to us last year. And this year, if you're interested in learning more, we'd love to tell you more about how you can get involved. You can come to our business plan competition on May 5th or the one on June 22nd or 23rd. We're looking for more help and support so we can blow this out. But I'm here. I started off by saying I'm so, so grateful, and I am. So thank you. I hope that you can see why I'm so proud of these gentlemen for the way that they have used every opportunity that we've provided to transform their lives. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.